In the quiet suburbs of Oakwood, New Jersey, a group of friends had always been drawn to the abandoned treehouse at the edge of the woods. The structure, a relic of childhood memories, had long been neglected, with its rotting wooden planks and overgrown vines. The locals spoke little about it, but when they did, it was always in hushed tones, as if the place was cursed. Tommy, the most adventurous of the group, had heard the rumors. Strange noises at night, the feeling of being watched, and the disappearance of kids who once ventured too close. But to him, these were just stories, until one summer evening when he dared his friends to go inside. "Come on, it's just a treehouse," Tommy said, standing at the base of the towering oak tree. "We've been friends for years, right? What's the worst that could happen?" His best friend Emily hesitated. "Tommy, people in town are scared of it for a reason. I don't want to end up like..." "Like who?" Tommy interrupted, his voice eager and excited. "There's nothing to be afraid of." Reluctantly, Emily followed, with Jake and Sam trailing behind. The air was thick with humidity, and the sun was beginning to set, casting long shadows across the yard. As they approached the treehouse, an unsettling chill seemed to creep up their spines. The ladder to the treehouse was rickety, but it held their weight as they climbed one by one. When they finally reached the top, they saw the room, a small, dusty space with a single window that overlooked the woods. Strange symbols were carved into the walls, and a broken old rocking chair creaked in the corner. "See? It's just an old abandoned treehouse," Tommy said, though his voice now lacked its usual confidence. "Nothing here but dust." But as he spoke, a soft whisper seemed to echo from the trees. Emily's eyes widened in fear. "Did you hear that?" Tommy laughed it off. "It's just the wind, nothing more." But the whispering grew louder, more urgent. It was as if someone was calling their names, faint at first but growing more distinct. Emily grabbed Tommy's arm. "We need to leave, now." But it was too late. Suddenly, the door slammed shut, trapping them inside. The air grew colder, and the rocking chair began to move on its own. Sam tried to force the door open, but it wouldn't budge. "What's happening?" Jake screamed, his voice tinged with panic. Tommy, now feeling the weight of the situation, glanced out the small window. His heart skipped a beat. From the shadows in the woods, figures were emerging, pale and gaunt, their eyes glowing in the dim light. They seemed to move with an unnatural speed, closing in on the treehouse. Who are they?" Sam stammered. The figures didn't answer. Instead, they began to circle the base of the treehouse, their murmurs growing louder, more frantic. They were speaking in a language none of them understood. Then a voice, clear and sharp, echoed from behind them. "You shouldn't have come here." The friends spun around to see a figure standing in the doorway. An old man hunched over, his face obscured by a long white beard. "This place, it was never meant for you." Tommy's mind raced. "What do you mean? What's going on?" The old man took a step closer. "This treehouse is a doorway, but not just any doorway. It connects this world to something far darker. And those you see outside, they were once like you, curious, daring, thinking they could outsmart what lurks here. But they're no longer people, not in the way you think." Fear clawed at their throats. Jake grabbed Tommy's arm. "We need to get out now." But the treehouse, the door, the entire world outside seemed to warp before their eyes. The figures at the base of the tree were no longer just standing. They were climbing the tree, moving with unnatural speed. The old man raised his hand. "You must leave and never return." Before they could respond, a deafening noise filled the air, like the creaking of the entire treehouse breaking apart. The world spun, and the next thing they knew, they were back outside. The treehouse was gone. The once towering oak tree was now nothing more than a hollow stump, its bark blackened and decayed. The woods were silent again, as though nothing had ever happened. But when the friends returned to town, they learned something chilling. The treehouse had been abandoned for years, yet in every local newspaper archive, there were articles about children disappearing near those very woods. Disappearances that had never been explained. They had narrowly escaped something far darker than they could have ever imagined. And the scariest part? None of them could remember exactly how they had gotten out.